Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most prominent model in the field of communication, the encoding and decoding model of communication. The encoding and decoding model of communication was first developed by cultural studies scholar Stuart in 1973. Stuart was a believer in the audience. Hall proposed that audience might actively participate in decoding messages by drawing on their own social contexts. The model falls under the reception theory as it assumes the audience to be active in the process of making meaning from a media text. According to Hall, communication is the process of organizing meaning and messages by using codes. In this process of organizing messages through codes, there are two determinate moments, which are encoding and decoding. Encoding is the process where the media producer or the director encode the intended meaning of media text into media contents. It is based on their ideologies and intentions along with the technological uses that are available to them. It means the media producer's own ideologies are incorporated in his or her produced and transmitted media contents. Decoding is the process where the audience decodes the meaning of the director's encoding. It is based on the ideology and intentions of the audience along with the technological support that are available to them. How the audience will decode the meaning of the director's message will completely depend on the audience. For example, right now as the creator of this video, I am trying to encode the concepts of encoding and decoding here. And you, the audience of this video, are decoding what I am trying to explain in this video. You may decode it exactly the same way, or you may completely reject it, or you may partially agree and partially disagree with the encoded ideology of the media producer. On the basis of this, Stuart Hall's encoding and decoding model of communication consists of three different ways of decoding media text. The first one is the dominant or preferred reading, the second one is the oppositional reading, and the third one is negotiated reading. Dominant or preferred reading is how the producer wants the audience to interpret the media text. In this way, the audience takes the actual meaning directly and it decodes it exactly the way it was encoded. Oppositional reading is the interpretation of a media text by an audience whose social situation places them in a directly oppositional relation to the dominant code, who understands the preferred reading but does not share the text code and reject this reading. It is more like that the receiver is decoding a different message. Negotiated reading is the intermediate position between dominant reading and the oppositional reading. The position is a mixture of accepting and rejecting elements. Readers are acknowledging the dominant message but are not willing to completely accept the message the way encoder intended. The reader, to a certain extent, share the text code and generally accept the preferred reading but simultaneously resists and modifies it in a way which reflects his or her own experiences and interests. To better understand, let's illustrate these three different readings with a contextual example. Nowadays, there are many media contents which talks about the LGBTQ rights. So if you completely agree with their ideology and take the actual meaning directly and decode it exactly the way it was encoded, like yes, we should and need to make sure that their rights are not violated, then as an audience, you will hold the dominant or preferred reading position. If you completely disagree with their ideology and decode a different message like LGBTQ communities should not have their desired rights, then you will hold the oppositional reading position. If you partially agree and partially disagree with their ideology and modify it in a way which reflects your own experiences and interests, like as a human being they should have their basic rights and should not be subjected to violence, but their sexual orientations cannot be legalized, then as an audience, you will hold the negotiated reading position. Okay, let's recap the whole model again. The media producers encode the message and the audience decode the message in 3 different readings. Dominant reading is when the encoding equals to decoding. Oppositional reading is when encoding is not equals to decoding, and the negotiated reading is the intermediate position between dominant reading and the oppositional reading. That's all about the encoding and decoding model. Thanks for watching it.